Cold War was defined by a competition between the United States and the Soviet Union, and their competing ideologies of democracy and communism. After World War II, and in light of the civil rights movement in the United States in the 1950s, one of the key critiques that the Soviet Union leveled against the U.S. was its policies of racial segregation. To counter this narrative, the State Department mobilized African American artists, musicians, journalists, and cultural producers through education and cultural exchange programs as diplomats of American democracy. One of these individuals was the journalist Carl T. Rowan, who would later work for the Kennedy and Lyndon Johnson presidencies, and would in 1964 become the first African American director of the United States Information Agency, the administrators of American Cold War cultural diplomacy. In 1954 and 1955, Rowan would travel through Southeast Asia, meeting cultural producers and nation builders, and attend the Bandung Conference of 1955. Upon his return, he published a travelogue, The Pitiful and the Proud. At the same time that the State Department was sending African American thinkers and writers to Southeast Asia, the Bandung Conference of 1955 also drew them to Southeast Asia, the most famous of which was Richard Wright, the African American writer and thinker who would go on to write one of the most read accounts of the Bandung Conference, The Color Curtain. Wright would meet Indonesian intellectuals who he would anonymously quote in The Color Curtain. The Congress of Cultural Freedom, an organization that in the 1970s was revealed to be funded by the United States Central Intelligence Agency, would publish the essay Indonesian Notebook, the first account of Wright's trip. The essay would later become part of The Color Curtain. The essay also would prove to be controversial. It solicited a response from the Indonesian novelist and newspaper editor Mokhtar Lubis, who would accuse Wright of inaccuracy and misrepresentation. Mokhtar's response claimed that Wright overstated racial business as a way of life in Asia. His response was published in the March 1956 issue of Encounter magazine. The display in this exhibition brings together these publications and points to the legacies of Afro-Asia in Southeast Asia.